As of today, January 2025, we have 3 constituencies across Kenya that are vacant and about 11 wards without MCAs. There have not been by-elections in these areas because of lack of what is called Iebc, the Independent and Electoral Boundaries Commission. Why is it that we don't have Iebc in Kenya today? Because one of the constituencies had their MP die in March 2023. For that whole period, they have not had their MP. Why don't we have Iebc in Kenya today? What are your opinions? What do you think?
IBC is an independent board. Yeah. Its independence, historically in Kenya, it has been something that has always been compromised politically. It has been something that is used by politicians, especially those who are in position of power or those who play the games wisely, or maybe they trade wisely with them. And we've been waiting because we have a situation where people have been calling out, and especially in 2024 when we had the finance bill 2024 where people protested against, and people were just like they wanted to recall the MPs, and that would mean that the government could not work and the executive could also fall down, and will call for another election if in case we had the IBC.
So in short, Ruto fears that if IBC is there, people would recall the MPs.
Yeah.
And once the majority of these MPs are not there, the legislature arm of government cannot transact its business, and therefore executive can also not operate without this arm of government, because this is the body that makes laws, they approve budget, and so on and so forth. That is one. Number two, the second reason why I'm seeing Ruto fears IBC. Do you know, with IBC in place, all the members of parliament would trade wisely, because if you vote against or you legislate against the will of your people back home, they'll just recall you because IBC will be there. Again, we have these positions. Remember, without an MP or an MCA, these citizens are missing out on 3 very major important roles. There's no one who is oversighting on their behalf. There's no one who is representing them on the August House. And then there's no one who is taking part in legislation that in many occasions affect them directly. Yeah. So do you think it is good? Is it safe to have the IBC right now?
It is two-way. There is also a question of the IBC itself. Like if we have it today in the image of the current government, that they be the people in power, so they influence the people who are up to be appointed into those positions. There's also another question. If that therefore happens, it means we also still will fear the coming elections, for example, in 2027, that will it be a real independent IBC, or it will be something which is compromised also?
Anyway, since its inception, IBC is just independent on papers, according to how it's been operating. It's just independent on papers, but very much, actually, it's being played around by politicians.
So do you mean two-way round, the citizens are to lose?
If it is formed today with this very regime, then that IBC will not be independent. We need to have an independent body formed by Kenyans, not this very regime.
And how can Kenyans do it?
You see what the Gen Zs are doing, what they are after, the complete overhaul of the government. We have this government out. We have a caretaker government.
Do you need us to have more abductions?
Of course, if that is the only way the government is going to do this, that is their own take. But we need not to have abductions, that you are abducted because you are criticizing the government. Actually, abduction should not have space anywhere in this country. We are in a very democratic world. I'm also looking at it this way. Ruto wants to form a IBC when we are very close to the elections, so that he can easily manipulate the IBC. Again, you've seen it has come to the public limelight not once, not twice, that Ruto is still young, and so we need to have him extend the terms to 7 years. So we have 2 terms, 14 years in total, with 7 years each. If that is to happen, because then it seems it cannot pass through the parliament as it stands, because Kenyans are very much awake. maybe Ruto might wait with this IEBC thing, because we cannot go to elections without IEBC.
Yeah, that's true.
So he waits until we reach 2027. We go past 2027, we get to 2028, past 20, and then he makes the IEBC once now he is past the 5 years. And looking at it, no, I did not do law, but the little thing I understand about law is that if at all he manages, if he goes past the 5 years, and then manages to now change the law into 7 years each, making it 14 for 2 terms.
Yeah, they can use numerous strategies.
Yeah, then it means the 5 years would have gone that way, and so he would be eligible to run for office for the other 2 terms, now 7-7.
You know, they can even wait till 2027, then they form that IEBC. Then the IEBC says that for us to prepare for an election, we need maybe a year or 2 years. So in that period, they get the extension.
Yeah.
And if the citizens push that they just do the election without proper preparation, we just know what will happen.
There's one more thing that Ruto fears. You know, IBC has several functions. One of them that it must always do is continuous registration of voters. Majority of the Gen Zs and the millennials who are out here protesting against this regime have no votes. They have no voters card. They are not registered as voters.
You have one?
Of course, I'm a voter.
Oh, thank you.
So majority of these young people are not registered as voters. So the government fears that, you know, they are the majority and there are so many. If they register as voters, then automatically this government is out. So maybe Ruto is playing around so that he ensures these young people are not registered as voters. But he's joking. If IEBC is formed even 2 months to the election, I tell you, these young people will be camping in the IEBC offices even at night for them to be registered as voters. You see,
sure.
So Ruto fears that. Again, we have several candidates coming up, and I've also started seeing them coming together. And there's a possibility of several candidates forming formations.
Coalitions.
Coalitions for the 2027 elections. Okay. Do you think it is safe for people to wait until 2027 without the IEBC? Now, we looked at if it is safe, if IEBC is formed right now with this regime. Is it safe to wait
till 2027
without IEBC?
Without IEBC, you know, it is, by the way, it is still very dangerous, that if we wait till 2027 for us to have the IEBC, you know, Ruto is still in power. Yeah, President Ruto is still in power, and he can, in any way, he can push to compromise the IEBC. But in our position as the citizens, we can also push in our own ways. We can even protest. Yeah, if we see that the image that is being built or is maybe the persons who are being appointed to be in the IEBC positions are maybe people from appointed who are there to compromise and to maybe to overturn the choice or maybe the decision of the citizens of Kenya when it comes to election time 2027. But we can just find out, but it's a better case if the IEBC is formed today, and if even some of the MPs who are not working, who are not performing their roles the way they should, are recalled by the citizens. So we have a re-election or maybe a by-election, and therefore the government can be set to pace.
You know, as IBC continuously registers voters, they must also always check on their systems to ensure that those who have died are removed as voters. Yeah, sure. So without IBC in place, these people are still there because several people are dying anyway. Others are being killed by police during protests. Others are dying natural death.
Yeah, sure.
So people are dying. Yeah. So without this system or this list being updated, we will have several ghost voters who are not there, and but they will vote.
And IBC must also have some time to confirm the polling station, the places which were taken away by the floods, where maybe there are places where people no longer reside, and population are also increasing some places are reducing, so the increase of the polling station. You know, if it just has a short period to organize itself for an election, we can just realize that we'll have a lot of pseudo polling stations.
My brother, I'm seeing a possible massive voters like dead people ghosts who will vote.
Yeah.
A very good number.
So we must have the IBC today if we want to be in the safe end of it.
What are your thoughts? Leave us your comment. Of course, your thoughts are also independent. Why do you think Ruto fears forming IBC? Are they playing games with IBC? Because you'll realize that IBC starts to be formed. Somebody sponsors a case in court. It is halted and will be just like that for a very long time.
Yeah.
Why do you think the government fears?
It's just games being played with us.
Just games being played with us.
Thank you.
Leave us your comment. This is Turning the Mirror podcast. On the hot seat, I was with my good brother, Owuth Kaboko.
Thank you.
My name is Kwach.
Thank you.